Well, together our panelists have tweeted over 12,000 times. We actually did the research.
No.
Oh, wow, 12,000.
But what have they been posting about this year, we wonder? Well, we teamed up with our friends over at BuzzFeed to uncover the top trending stories and personalities of 2011. Our list was determined by analyzing the social activity across all of the networks and partners that work with BuzzFeed. Now, coming in at number 5 was the assassination of the most hunted man in the world, Osama Bin Laden, on May 1st, 2011. Twitter reported that there was more than 4,000 tweets per second during the speech Obama made announcing Bin Laden's death.
You know,
now, isn't that crazy?
It is.
Seconds.
I learned about this in a funny way because
Me too.
I was performing on stage and Sarah Silverman, were you there that night?
This is interesting, yes.
Sarah Silverman had sent, she can time her tweets and send them out at random intervals. So she had sent out a tweet about her dog pooping, but it was in the middle of about like 1,000 Bin Laden has been assassinated tweets. So it just seemed like she was totally not on the same page. So I found out by everyone in the audience pulling out their phones.
No
going,
way.
And then Sarah being mortified that in the middle of like hundreds of tweets of Bin Laden's death, she has a dog. My dog poops weird.
I was I was in Canada doing a show in Toronto, and one of the other comics came out on stage, and this was like at 11 o'clock at night on a Sunday night.
Yeah, it was a Sunday night.
And Sean Cullen, a very funny Canadian comic, walks out on stage and goes, "Oh, Osama Bin Laden's just been shot in the face by President Obama."
By Obama.
Yeah, exactly. Obama just shot Bin Laden. And I was like, not only did it sound crazy just on the face of it, but also the fact that it was like 11 o'clock at night on a Sunday night. Like, I've never, ever heard of breaking news, at that time of night on a Sunday. So I just thought he was kidding. And the whole audience thought he was kidding too. So we all went home and found out for real later.
Yeah, everyone thought it was a joke. I mean, that was.
And he had the White House Correspondents' Dinner the night before, so you know he was hanging out, partying, knowing what was going on.
Oh, they showed footage of him during the Correspondents' Dinner when Seth Meyers was making jokes about Osama Bin Laden. Just the look on his face was just, he knew exactly what was going down, but he played it totally cool.
It's so crazy.
Wow. Well, some of the most noteworthy tweets were from some celebrities and people in the White House.
Had one,
Newt Gingrich had one. Among the tweets that crossed our eyes the most was a tweet from Donald Rumsfeld's former chief of staff. He said, "So I'm told by a reputable person they have killed Osama bin Laden. Hot damn." Followed immediately by, "Don't know if it's true, but let's pray that it is." So people over there weren't quite sure either.
Yeah, I mean, I think his tweets are sometimes unreliable because he's also like, "Go see the Glee movie. I thought it was great. Hot damn." Corey Monteith is really great. Yeah, so you know, sometimes I take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Oh, well, the most joyous story in our list was the royal wedding of Prince William and Kate Middleton. The opulent fairy tale union dominated social media for weeks.
Another late night thing. Again, this is like if you were here.
I don't think it's still late night there. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, for us, it was late night.
I got the news late at night that it was happening.
We were watching something else. It was really weird.
Because here in LA, I think it was on like a 4 or 3 in the morning or something like that.
People stayed up. They had parties, like pajama parties.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have stayed up too late to watch a boring wedding.
So did you get into royal wedding fever?
No, I just, watched the highlights on the news because they showed all the great fights that happened during the wedding. Like, what is there? I guess the kiss. That was the only thing I really remember seeing over and over
you're romantic.
again.
It's British royalty. I mean, there was no way to
moments.
really escape it. The whole event basically took over YouTube. There were a total of 100 million views by the end of the day. 8 different live streams from 8 live
But
from,
it's like
from networks on
watching just boring church. Like, I mean, there's nothing really different about it.
Since it is bigger
got
in the
nothing at
U.S. than
stake.
in the U.K., so why was it so compelling to Americans?
Because the Kardashians were probably in reruns at that point. They were
They needed
like,
another
we need
family to
some
latch
wedding to
onto.
watch.
Yeah, some people like weddings. I don't know who they are, but I guess
We're talking to 2 men
you call
here,
them ladies. Yeah.
right?
Ladies like a
Hardcore.
good wedding. Those guys over there are already, they're so bored they're wishing they had seats.
So our number 3 top story of the year is the tornadoes that hit the Midwest. The most powerful tornado hit Joplin, Missouri, and the month of April was the deadliest in U.S. history, with 361 tornado-related deaths. But what was good about it was that social media, in the light of all this, was also used to connect people and in many cases even save lives. So is this a good sign that social media, Paul, is being used for good in these
Yeah,
circumstances?
for sure. Yes, I think there would be no other way to answer that. No, I don't think so. But no, I think it would be. I think it's great that you're able to tweet out where you are and what you're doing, and if you can. I mean, did you use social media with tornadoes at all, Doug?
I didn't know, but I heard that people actually got stuff back that flew miles away.
So you'd
That
be like,
by
wow.
They did. People posted on their Twitter and Facebook the items that were missed. No, seriously,
Really?
they're
I
missing
know, but I was
items.
just
was
laughing
right.
about
Were
my
you
cow.
making that up?
No, it's a
Yes.
real thing. Like,
Not
Really?
just floating cows.
Okay.
anybody see my Kindle or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah,
bigger
well,
items
people,
than that.
You know,
I was in the middle of reading a great book.
more importantly, people tweeted their whereabouts for their safety
Yeah.
and location, letting their loved ones know that they were okay.
Well,
Yeah.
did you feel more connected to
I
the
checked
story?
into the tornado on Get Glue, and so I was able to really be able to communicate with them.
LinkedIn
Oh
keeps
my
asking
God.
me if I want to.
was so weird.
The tornado
Well, I
on
have a question
LinkedIn.
though, like seeing this in your social stream and everyone updating it, I feel like it used to be we would see this as a headline or a news story, but seeing it online makes you just feel more connected to it. Because
Yeah,
you're
well, you
seeing
find out
people's
immediately.
first-person reactions, the pictures, the videos from the ground.
Yeah, I follow CNN on Twitter, and somebody beats them to every news story. Like they're not the first. The news people aren't the first people to know about it anymore. It's all of us.
Yes, definitely. Well, speaking of that, Arab Spring or Arab Awakening hold the #2 place. The revolutionary wave includes regime changes in Tunisia, Egypt, and Libya, as well as civil uprisings and major protests throughout the Arab world. And that's where we saw really the power put in the hands of the people. So how do you think social media played in all of this and the power of social media? Were you surprised at how much it really changed their world and the way we looked at the uprisings?
I think now you can't squash an uprising because people can get out there and do more stuff. So for as many tweets as you have about weird hashtags, don't fart in hashtag, whatever, you can also help organize a revolution.
Well,
Yeah, it's. I think Paul said it best. That
You
you can either start a revolution or make a fart joke. It's yours. It's
or
yours for the
side
taking.
boob Sundays, which I know you're a big fan
I do
of.
side boob Sundays.
Sundays. I follow Doug. I don't remember. I got to see this.
Yeah, well, you probably don't pay attention much on Sundays.
Sundays,
'cause
I'm
you're
light
at
at
weddings all day.
Well, I'll go back to just Egypt quickly. Hashtag Egypt. When Mubarak actually shut down the internet, Twitter worked with Google to allow people to text to tweet. So people were, texting a certain number, and they would tweet it out to share that information.
When Mubarak stepped down, tweets from Egypt and around the world jumped from 2,300 to 230,000, actually.
I heard that they didn't shut down MySpace, but still didn't make a difference because no one got on there to post anything.
I haven't looked at my MySpace in the longest time.
Yeah.
It's probably the most horrifying graveyard of tattoos and porn.
Well,
MySpace has become just like the audience for a Morrissey concert. That's all it is.
we love all social networks.
Morrissey update.
We love MySpace.
Sure you do.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I want MySpace to make a comeback.
I know.
Start it right here,
Justin
right now.
Timberlake is going to take it over and
It
bring it back.
is.
Is he
He's
really?
going to bring Facebook back.
Let's go to our
It
number
was hard
one.
enough for him to bring sexy
Let's go to
back.
our number one most social story of
All
the
right.
year. It was the Japan earthquake, tsunami, and nuclear disaster on March 11th. The country's phone system was actually knocked out within an hour, and the number of tweets coming from Tokyo reached as high as 1,200 per minute, which is pretty crazy. So does the fact that this is number one prove that, the power of social media in these situations? Once again, we're seeing it was used to connect to the Red Cross.
I think it
to
proves
raise
that
money.
disaster, as tragic as it is, it leads to unity. And social media exemplifies that. I mean, there were some really great creative text to give campaigns for the Red Cross as a result of this tragedy. And people even that play Farmville and Cityville were able to buy virtual goods and donate that real money to go to the cause. So there are a lot of really cool things that happened as a result.
Well, I think the one thing that's really interesting is you don't have to get your news filtered through mainstream media, like Doug was saying. Like you can, I remember seeing so many different videos, like not home movies, but like people from their video cameras and stuff like that. It made you feel like you could actually get an understanding of what was going on, an unfiltered understanding of it.
Yes.
It's really interesting.
Doug is learning something today.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, yeah. I'm taking it in.
It got towards. It was fun at first with weddings and stuff, but
Yeah, now
the
it's
topics
going-
got.
Well,
more
we're gonna-
serious
We'll
and
get
more
fun
serious.
again.
I
We're gonna
know.
get
But
fun
that's
again.
what shows how strong and important social media has become. Is that it really is a great source of information to hear about loved ones or strangers when something of this cataclysmic
Yeah,
happens.
definitely.
And I'm happy. It felt good for us as humanity that Kardashian wasn't listed in the top 5.
Exactly.
That's
We
pretty
have
good.
hope,
Pretty good.
everyone. Well, rounding out the top 10 stories of the year were the rapture, which ended up not happening, thankfully, New York legalizing gay marriage, the hype around Hurricane Irene, the 10th anniversary of 9/11, and Occupy Wall Street.